Hi everyone, it's Jenny here from ND Matters. So I wanted to do a video about Christmas and the whole kind of Christmas season, thinking about how that is for neurodivergent adults and thinking about some of the things that might come up for us in December and around Christmas time. So I've kind of inspiration for this, I guess, was a couple of years ago, we did a Facebook kind of sequence of the 12 days of Christmas. And it was sort of on the first day of Christmas, my ND neurodivergence gave to me, and then there was a series of different things that might come up. So what I wanted to do was kind of put that into a bit of a video format, because I know lots of people prefer videos, and then I can add the pictures to the screen. So I'm going to do that, and hopefully by the time I've edited it seamlessly, this will happen. And the picture will be there covering our logo. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So as you can see, the first one that we've got there is social anxiety. So there's loads of stuff going on, isn't there, in December? There's work, Christmas parties, there's family get-togethers, there's way more social events than there normally is. There's also that pressure to sort of conform to social norms. There's all that extra hugging and kissing, engaging in small talk, all those kind of overwhelming things going on there. So if you've got a lot of those going on, it's worth having a bit of a think about how you are planning to kind of deal with those. Always good to have a plan. First plan I would say is an exit plan. Thinking about how you are going to get yourself out if you need to and if you want to. So the one thing that we always talk about is an Irish exit. If you don't know what an Irish exit is, it's basically where you just leave. So that can take a bit of practice. I don't know that I've actually been brave enough to do one yet, but if you need to go, just go. You can always send a text the next day. Don't need to necessarily explain yourself, just say you needed to go if you want to. And the reason for that is because a lot of the time at these parties or at these events, the saying goodbye can last ages and ages, and you have to go around and you have to hug everyone. You have to pretend that you're going to meet up soon or say you're going to meet up soon and all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of to avoid that. So likelihood is if it's at a place where, especially if there's drink involved, people might not even notice if you just go. And like I said, you could always send a text the next day. There is a bit of a middle ground for that. If you didn't want to do that, something that I tend to do sometimes is literally just sort of stand up, give a bit of a wave, right, I'm going now, bye, and start walking before you get dragged into all the extra hugs and kisses. So next one, on the second day of Christmas, my ND gave to me impulse spending. So when you combine even impulsivity with kind of a need for that dopamine hits, it can make December a really expensive month for neurodivergent shoppers. So there's lots of sort of bright lights, the alluring displays that are going on, excitement of the season, can trigger those impulsive choices, which we don't want because it's going to lead to sort of financial stress. Stress around choosing the right gifts as well, that can amplify impulsive tendencies as well. So really important, I think, with that one is to just kind of stop. Easier said than done, I know. Think about your spending limit. Have you got one? Do you give yourself a spending limit? I always tell people to do this, but I don't actually do it, but I really need to. Thinking about thoughtful, meaningful gift giving rather than sort of impulse purchases. So things, that you can make, or things with a more personal touch. If that is an option for you, that might be something to think about there too. Okay. Number 3, abstract concepts. So I always think about being a child at Christmas and thinking about not necessarily me, but any child, and thinking about how we sort of explain all those abstract concepts to children. And when you think about it, there's, it's bizarre. There's a lot to kind of get your head around there. You're celebrating the birth of a baby that you've never met, who was apparently born in another country in a barn with lots of animals. Then we think about the whole Father Christmas, Santa Claus, a fat, bearded man, in a big red suit who gets down your chimney. What? Sorry. Travels around on flying reindeers. It's a lot. It's a lot to get your head round, and he gives you loads of presents. So, if you're thinking about, like I said, explaining that to children, it's not any wonder that it can be sort of a little bit confusing and a little bit abstract. So, important to remember that at Christmas, and to kind of take a step back and, concentrate on the things that you are in control of, and kind of keep them going as you like them. Day 4, on the 4th day of Christmas, my ND gave to me executive dysfunction. So there's so much going on, isn't there? There's so much kind of organising, planning, prioritising, tidying. Things like that can be really hard for us at the best of times. And that's before you even get involved in sort of shopping and wrapping and all that sort of stuff. Don't beat yourself up around this. I would say lots of us do need that deadline of Christmas. I'm sure there's many of you watching that do a lot of their stuff on Christmas Eve. I'm thinking of a certain person in my head now that runs around like crazy on Christmas Eve, but gets it done because that is how their brain works. So yeah, you'll get there. You will get there. You need that deadline of Christmas sometimes. And if you are a super organized person, then brilliant. You might thrive in that. You might thrive in having a spreadsheet with your budget and your names. And there's all kinds of different apps now that you can get as well for Christmas buying, gift giving. So that can be helpful too. On the 5th day of Christmas, my ND gave to me a need for self-care. Yes, it is a cliche, but self-care, that's weird. Self-care in the holidays, I think, is an absolute must. It can be forgotten in the chaos. It's really important, I think, to try and plan some self-care ideas in there to keep you sane. So there is a lot of pressure to be sociable and to have fun. There's a lot of forced fun as well, isn't there, around Christmas? Now we will all play a game and enjoy it. And that can leave you sort of exhausted, burnt out. So have a little think about those self-care things that you can keep in for you, whatever it might be, whether it's getting out in nature, going for a walk, leaving the get-together early, texting a friend. Yeah, so just have a think about what might sort of work for you during that time. Okay, on the 6th day of Christmas, my ND gave to me too much alcohol. So there's booze, and more booze, isn't there? If you drink alcohol, the chances are that your drinking habits are probably going to change over the sort of festive time. Thinking about things like more nights out, like we said before. If you don't drink as well, it's kind of navigating that alcohol-free drinking. You might feel more pressure to drink because of all the stuff that's going on. So this can obviously lead to all sorts of problems, thinking about your hangovers, your anxiety. There's a word, isn't there, that's a mix between anxiety, that's the one. They can come around a lot during this time as well. Overthinking as well. Overthinking the night before, what happened, what did I do, what did I say? Neurodivergent brains are really, really good at overthinking. So just worth kind of, having an awareness around that and thinking about, what is your plan around that? Okay. On the 7th day of Christmas, my ND gave to me sensory overload. So We've got loads of vibrant lights. We've got jingling bells everywhere, festive music. All those kinds of things can sort of intensify sensory sensitivities, discomfort, anxiety, a lot of crowded spaces. I don't do any of my Christmas shopping physically. It's all online. And that's because I hate going to places where there's loads and loads of people. You can smell everybody's scent, and again, the lights, the bells, the music, all that sort of stuff. So worth having a think about that as well in terms of what are you, if you do have to deal with that, what are your sensory supports? Have you got them with you? Have you packed your stuff that you need? Where can you go to take a break if you need to? Planning and preparation. When are you going to have a break? Where are you going to have a break? If you don't need to go, don't go. Thinking about being kind to yourself, and thinking about all those kind of sensory things. The idea is to have a good time and not be completely overwhelmed. On to number 8. On the 8th day of Christmas, my ND gave to me a need for routine. A lot of unstructured time around Christmas as well. That can be hard when we're used to having a routine of things. Obviously, if you are at school or at work, you might have taken a break. There's lots of kind of open-ended plans, spontaneous get-togethers as well. Oh, hey, do you fancy coming around tonight? Not really enough notice. All those kinds of things can be really overwhelming and induce anxiety. Really important, I think, for you to build some structure in, whilst kind of incorporating that flexibility if you can. So think about the routines that you can keep. What can you keep there? The things that you like to do ordinarily, and have a little think and a bit of a plan for yourself as well. On the 9th day of Christmas, my ND gave to me food sensitivities. I'm aware we covered sensory, but wanted to do this one separately just because there can be a lot going on for kind of food and diet and that kind of thing. You might not like to eat Christmas dinner. So thinking about all those kind of the traditional foods, I suppose everything smells a bit stronger, doesn't it? Can be quite overwhelming. There's great big elaborate presentations of Christmas dinner that can be sort of visually overwhelming too. There might be a limited choice for people who struggle with food or have food diversions or have lots of safe foods. So again, I think it's thinking about planning ahead. Can you communicate your dietary needs to alleviate some of that stress? Is there going to be somebody with you that can maybe sort of advocate for you a little bit? Think about your safe options. Can you bring stuff with you? Or yeah, like I said, can you have a supportive friend or a family member who can kind of advocate for you as well if that's needed? And yeah, having some Wotsits or whatever it is. I'm just thinking of Wotsits for me in your bag if you need to, because having those safe things is really, really important. Okay, we're getting there now. So day number 10, on the 10th day of Christmas, my ND gave to me gift giving stress. So there's a lot of difficulties with sort of social nuances of gift giving. And that is both kind of choosing and receiving presents as well. That can cause a lot of stress. And it should be a really nice experience, to be fair. So the pressure, obviously, to find the perfect gift can be overwhelming. Again, we talked about the stress of sort of crowded shops, all that kind of thing. Thinking about sort of planning, prioritizing again. There's a few things you can do in terms of receiving gifts. That was always something I strongly disliked / struggled with, in front of everybody looking at you. You can tell people what you want for Christmas. You can have your presents not wrapped. You can open your presents in the bedroom or somewhere else. You can take the presents on the day and say, thank you very much. I'm going to open this when I get home, if that's okay. You can connect, you can suggest alternatives if you want. You'd like a donation to charity. Yeah, or same for giving as well. You can donate to charity, or like I mentioned before, creative homemade gifts, and things like that sometimes can be much more meaningful too. And on the 11th day of Christmas, my ND gave to me, I need to be alone. So, as we mentioned, lots of crowds, lots of stuff going on, and you might feel that that need to be alone over the festive period is more. The routine's disrupted, there's all kinds of stuff going on, and it can be a real struggle to find a balance between kind of social engagements and that need for downtime. And I think downtime over Christmas can be really, really important. And I think it's important to factor it into. So think about the breaks and the space for yourself, to support your own need for alone time. Understanding and no pressure from others to participate in activities can also help. So special interests as well, they can be really helpful during this time if you need some downtime and you want to kind of process things in the background, but be concentrating on something else, doing whatever your special interest might be. That might be really comforting and helpful. Any solitary activities that you like. I'm big into knitting at the moment. I can do it around people sometimes, but yeah, and also go back to day 5, self-care. Again, so thinking about that, crucial for us during this time and really helpful for, excuse me, stress management. And on the last one, on the 12th day of Christmas, my Andy gave to me emotional intensity. Whew. So there's a lot of heightened emotions around Christmas. It can be really triggering for some people. There's a lot of stress, there's a lot of pressure. And those, heightened emotions can be positive or negative. And that might be really tricky to kind of navigate because you might be, bumping all over the place with your emotions. A lot of emotionally charged environments too, pressure to socialize and participate in sort of social gatherings can lead to emotional overwhelm, particularly if you're already feeling sort of anxious about those social interactions. Sensory, like we mentioned before, or everything is sort of linked together and plays into each other. So yeah, thinking about that in mind, what can you do to support yourself or other people? Thinking about your boundaries for yourself and for other people, understanding other people's boundaries and their need to be alone as well as your own. If you can, providing that predictability to minimize anxiety around sort of changes or last minute things. And then we can go back to the sort of old school tried and tested methods of kind of, what are your coping strategies in terms of things like deep breathing, grounding techniques, exercise, sensory tools, taking some time out. All those kind of things can hopefully be helpful. So those are the kind of 12 days of Christmas that we went through on when I did the social media post. I will have missed things out inevitably, and you will likely have thought of things that I haven't thought of. Obviously, there's only 12 there. There are other things that we could have put in as well. But I just thought it might be helpful for some people to kind of touch on that and think about what they can sort of put in place. There will be things that come up that you will have to, might come up and you'll have to kind of deal with the situation as it comes. And I suppose that's where we might go back to those kind of, coping strategies and things that we put in place. So I hope that's been helpful. I feel like I've rambled of 20 something minutes I've been talking for. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Feel free to add any of your own kind of tips or tricks in the comments. And yeah, and if I don't speak to you, which I probably won't, because I might do actually, I might make another one. Just go. All right, I'll go. I'll speak to you, to you soon. All right, bye.